Hello, everyone. This is Rebecca Green for the Whiny Palooza podcast. And I am super excited today because I get to talk to Marie Diamond. Marie, thank you so much for doing this with me today.
I'm so excited too, Rebecca.
Marie is like the most fascinating lady. I am so excited to ask her so many questions. And let me tell you a little bit about her. She is a renowned Feng Shui master and energy healer. She has gained global recognition through her diamond Feng Shui method, integrating ancient Chinese practices with modern principles like the law of attraction and quantum physics. Celebrated for her role in The Secret, Diamond has taught over 1 million students worldwide, advising celebrities, business leaders, um, and even royalty. Oh my goodness. I missed that one on how subtle environmental adjustments can significantly impact life's outcomes. Her books and teachings emphasize simple, transformative steps for personal and business success, making her a sought after speaker and mentor in over 30 countries. We are talking to a very important lady here today.
Oh, thank you. That's so sweet.
Oh my gosh. So I was blown away by all the celebrities that you have advised. I missed the part about royalty. How did I miss that?
Yeah, I mean, they also need some help sometimes, right?
I'm I'm so impressed. But I would love to know, what was your journey to becoming an expert in feng shui? Tell us.
Yeah, so well, it all started when I was 15, so like 45 years ago, when I had a major accident. I was also declared dead. I had a near-death experience.
Oh my goodness.
So when I came back, I on the other side, I was given a message, and the message was, "You're here to enlighten more than 500 million people." Now, I had no idea what that meant when I came back and I had this message in my brain, right? And I was like, what does that mean? Like doing good things for other people. It's like what I came away with. But then I already had a spiritual mentor since I was 7. And so I asked him, what did he do wrong to attract an accident like this? And he said, well, you have bad feng shui. So I'm like, what's that? Right? Like he said, well, the place where you sleep is really bad for your good luck. And I have to be honest, I really was not in a good place at that time. I was depressed. I was bullied at school very severely. I was lonely. It was like really not a good space in my life. And so he asked me to move to another room and to change the colors and to start thinking about what is around me. And so in that other place, I had like all images of solitary women, like
Mm.
moms, right? And so I changed it and I put images, I painted like friends and a love relationship. And within a few weeks, I had my first love. And then the bully stopped bullying me and became very friendly to me. And I was like, wow, shift is really going on, right? It's like a huge shift. And so I started practicing some basic things, but I had no idea what to do further because, to be honest, there were no books on feng shui in my language, and my language is Dutch originally. So it was like, yeah, you just do what you have. And then I became an international lawyer because I wanted to, reach a lot of people. So I thought that if I would become a diplomat, work for the government, I would perhaps make a big difference. And it's only when I was in my early 30s and I was already teaching on law of attraction, teaching meditation. After being a lawyer, I kind of shifted already very early on, that I had my first book on feng shui and started studying ultimately with a feng shui master in Malaysia, a grandmaster, and I started teaching feng shui, when I was like early 30s, teaching, consulting, because I got my master practitioner certificate. And I just found that that was just such a missing link for people. And I was 38, I moved to the US. I immigrated because I thought, like, living in Belgium, I can never reach 500 million people, it's just too small. And so I moved to the US. I set up my feng shui, I set up my vision board, and I was also invited to some big mastermind groups. And That's where the film The Secret was filmed. And after The Secret was filmed, we reached more than 500 million people with The Secret alone. So I would say check. Yeah, that happened. And so, of course, now, I've just continued spreading the work about how Feng Shui is important to the law of attraction. And it's my journey.
Oh, what an amazing journey. I had no idea where it began. Wow, I'm blown away. And I know this is a really probably a hard question, but is there one thing that we can change to make a difference with feng shui in our lives today? Like, where
Well,
would you start?
Well, I would start, first of all, explaining a little bit what feng shui is. I think most people have like a notice of it, but they don't really know what it is. I think feng shui means literally wind and water. So it means about the flow of energy. And so I think we all feel when we go to a certain place that it's like, oh, it feels good. I want to stay here. And they go to another place and they're like, oh, I don't like it here. You don't always know why. It's the colors or the images. It's just the vibe is off, right? So feng shui is really the energy system of the home that is actually telling you, and showing you how to change that energy. And it's a Chinese system around for thousands of years. And the interesting part of it is that literally, people are aware of it, but they just don't know how to act upon it. They can do something about it. And so it's like I compare it like with acupuncture. Yeah. So acupuncture is like for the body, we put like needles or we put pressure on our body. And so feng shui is really like the acupuncture of the home. You place
Mm,
things in certain places will actually affect you. Like sometimes we have like an image we hang out there and thinking, oh, it looks great, but we're not aware that this is affecting us subconsciously. Like that's what the quantum physics field of the environment is actually feng shui. Like everything around us is affecting us subconsciously all the time. So the first place where to start is like, look through your home and be more aware of what is there right now, right? Take a little notepad and like perhaps you have things that are broken, perhaps you have clutter and chaos in certain corners. um, Look at the images. You're single and you have like all images of solitary people hanging out, right? So it's just like, what is it all around you, right? That you have, and that you're not aware of. And so becoming like thinking, is that what I want in my life? Like everything is like a subconscious three-dimensional vision board. And just becoming aware of that, that's the first step I would do.
so interesting. I was thinking about you when I went into my daughter's bedroom this morning because she spends so much time taking care of her bedroom and the decorations and the organization. And I go in there and I feel so wonderful. And I want to spread that in the rest of the house.
Mm,
So,
nice. So she
yeah.
has a flavor for it, you know?
Yes. And I'm as I'm talking to you, I'm like, I think that there needs to be like, I need to hire her to start.
How old is she?
She's only 11. She's only 11, but she has such a talent. And if you went in her room, you would be so impressed. Yes.
Wow.
So
Amazing.
I was thinking about you, but there's a lot of can you debunk a common feng shui myth? Because there's a lot of myths about feng shui.
Yeah. So yeah, I think the first myth is like it's an Asian tradition. It's only okay for Asian people, right? And even people are still like, you're not Asian. I'm a guest in that culture. I agree, but I learned really the intrinsics. I'm a classic trained feng shui master. Was trained by an Asian a grandmaster who was amazing. So the thing is that all of us can use that method. It's not because it's originated from China and got spread in Asia that it's not for everybody. It's only like since the 70s, 80s that this information came to the Western world. But it doesn't mean that we cannot all use it. The second part is that people think it's kind of a religion, like, or you
Mm,
have to believe in it. Actually, you don't have to believe, you just have to practice it. Yeah. And I do feel that some people, perhaps like your daughter, already have or more in tune with the energy of the environment, and they are
yeah.
more practicing it. Of course, they're doing it more intuitively, while Feng Shui is not an intuitive situation, right? It's really, there are principles, there are practices, laws, elements that we're using that have been practiced for thousands of years, and that were kept in the hands of the few, like the elite of China. Still today, the elite families in Asia have their own feng shui master. And so sometimes people say, like, well, I have a lot of celebrity clients for sure, and they are using it. But for me, it's important that everybody learns the basics. And that's why we have the book Feng Shui for Life. That's why we have a free app, the Marie Diamond app, so that people can really learn basic principles that really can shift their life very quickly.
That's awesome. I was so impressed. I just finished her book. I'm holding it up again. Feng Shui, Your Life. Read it. Really good book. I learned so much. I was twitching last night. My husband was like, "You're not starting right now. It's bedtime. Calm the brain. Go to bed."
He was smart. He's smart.
Oh my gosh. So you talked about so many things in your book. I mean, I have so many questions. And one of the things is how important personal energy numbers are. Can you
Yeah.
talk about numbers?
Yeah. So, we use in Feng Shui a method to find where in your home there is the strongest places for you personally to activate success and money, your health, relationships, and your wisdom. Wisdom is your connection with God, the universe, your education. And so think about again about that acupuncture. Yeah. So it's like to get the flow going. We cannot just go everywhere. Like if you have pain somewhere in your body, the acupuncturist will put a needle somewhere or do some a massage a certain place to get the energy flowing. So that's the same way. We need to find the right acupuncture points. Yeah. So the personal energy number is actually a calculation. It's not typical numerology. It's not adding all the numbers up. There's a calculation behind it. And people can find that through going to the free Marie Diamond app. And you just put in Marie Diamond in the app stores. I have to sneeze for a moment.
Yes, go ahead.
Um, and so as you go to the app, you will put in your birthday and your birth gender, and it connects it with your original DNA. And it creates a calculation, and it gets you a number between 1 and 9. And each number, why is important? Because it gives us 4 compass directions that are good for you, because we're talking about wind and water. So the compass is the wind direction that we're looking for. And so, what is your number, by the way, Rebecca?
Oh my God, I don't even remember. Is that terrible? It's in the book.
Yes, well, I can quickly look at it for you.
1976. Did I just
Uh,
find it? I think am I on? Okay, 1976 is right here. I'm a 9. I knew I was a 9. I just didn't trust myself. I'm a 9.
Yeah. So you are a healer, as we call that. So you want to heal the world. Yeah. That's like one of your purposes. And the 9 stands at the east is your success direction. Yeah. So that means that's why we have the app and the book works together, right? But you can find it on the book also. But then the app will show you a compass, and then you will get a compass that relates with your number. Now, mine is different than yours because
Yep.
I'm number 5. And so my
Okay.
success direction is Southwest. So in my success direction over there, I have my awards, I have some of my books there. So I put things there that are aligned with my success. For you, that would be East. So you would hold the compass in the center of the room, like holding it on the level of your heart, and see where is your success direction. So the first thing I always say to people, you can declutter, but start first with decluttering the areas that are good for you. Yeah, because you cannot always do everything at once. Yeah, that's kind of difficult. And we don't have always the time, but you cannot have any clutter or chaos in your success direction because you're telling the universe, I'm blocking that acupuncture point. Yeah. And you need to think this is like a portal of attraction. So whatever you have been placing there, that's what you've been attracting. So think about if you would put a garbage bin there, what you're attracting garbage. Yeah. Or
So
any
good.
project you have will throw into the garbage. If you have there an image of a desert, then don't be surprised nothing is moving forward. It's all drying up, right?
Mm.
So everything that's there, and you say, like, I don't look at that direction. No, but your subconscious mind looks at it each time you come in. 5% we're seeing on a conscious level, and 95% we see subconsciously. Yeah. And so this is really interesting for you to look at. And so that's why I want you to become more aware of things that are around you, but specifically where your directions are. And then you will also see that as we have 4 good directions, we also want to, if we can, look at these directions as much as we can, right? So it's not always possible depending on where your situation is. Like I'm focusing towards my wisdom direction as I'm sitting in my desk on my desk, because that's my teaching direction. So because I'm teaching all the time, every day, hours on end. So wisdom is good for me. Yeah. But I cannot sit towards my success direction, because then I have my back to the door. And that's a very important part, is that when you sit somewhere, you always need to see the door of that you walk in through into the room that you're in. Yeah. So even if you're not here, you're still like there for me. So it's like you would walk in, if you would be physically here, through that door. So I would see that. Yeah. So so that's the first rule. Always see the door. Yeah. Wherever you're sitting, even if you're waking up in the morning, you wake up and you see the door. Yeah.
Okay,
So
can I stop you for a second? Because
yeah.
I read your book and that was one of the things that bugged me the most, because I knew this rule and I can't follow it in my bedroom. If I could show you my bedroom. So where I wake up, where my head is, really bugs me. And so I think, like, I can't move my bed. Trust me, I have thought about this. So what do I need to do? Do I need to hang a mirror? Tell me how to fix
Yeah.
this.
So where is the door? Is it on the
The
side?
door is, so I'm waking up with my head to the side of the door. Does
Okay,
that make
got it.
sense?
Yeah. So yeah, so that also creates a little bit of restless sleep,
Mm,
because you're always like a little bit on alert who's coming in. Yeah. Okay. So what I would like you to do is to hang like a little mirror opposite the door. So when you wake up, you kind of still see who's coming in. Yeah. So you have to think, you have to look from a peripheral view. So you look like this. The moment you have to turn your head, it means you're not in a power position. Yeah.
mm,
So another thing is, do you have between the door and your bed a nightstand?
yes.
Okay, great. So put there like a symbol of protection for you. I don't
Mm,
know, whatever your religion or spiritual belief is, it could be an angel, could be a Buddha, something. So you feel like somebody's protecting you there. Yeah.
I like
So
that.
that is actually a very nice touch. And perfect feng shui is not always possible. Yeah.
My bedroom bugs me, and I drive my husband nuts about our bedroom. And I'm like, it's not good feng shui.
Well, it's not, but we always try to calibrate, right? So
Yes,
well, we have 24 hours a day. So 8 hours when we sleep, 8 hours when we're working. So you can put your desk in a good position that you see the door. Is that the case where you work right now?
yes,
So
yes.
you have 8 hours power position there. And then the other 8 hours is where you live. So that could be a sofa, could be a dining room, could be a kitchen table. So make sure at least you get 16 hours of power position.
Oh, wow. Interesting. So the other thing that you said is that when you walk into a family room, okay, so this is the other thing that I was driving my husband nuts about. You walk into the family room and you right away see the TV.
Mm.
So you said that's a no-no. So can you talk about that?
Well, it's always about who rules the room, right?
Mm,
So it's like your television is like when you come in, the first thing you see is the television. That is what rules the room, right?
it's
It's
true.
Yeah. And so if you would have your television on the side and you would put your sofa in a different way so that when you come in, because now you have your back to the door, a back to who comes in, probably, right? Or you
Mm-hmm.
have to turn yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you could, where the television is, put your sofa and put your television on another wall, you literally, first of all, would feel more in control, and the people would control the room instead of the television. And so many times when families tell me, like, we don't talk, we only watch television, I said it's because you give the power to the television. Yeah.
Wow. So
Okay.
we tend to talk in the dining room and watch TV in the family room.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Right. So if you would turn that around, yeah.
Yeah.
And like there are some people that they have a living room and they have a family room, right? So then at least have a space where the television is not dominant. Yeah. So because where the television is dominant, you won't talk. Like literally, you need to turn it around. So, and people have said so many times, like, yeah, really, we don't watch television so much anymore. Yeah. Okay.
So, so my question for you, is there a surprising feng shui story that you can share with us? Something that surprised you?
Well, I think something that surprised was a story for myself. So I put in my success direction, I put an Oscar. Yeah.
Mm.
And so, and that was like in 2001. And because I had put there also my vision board was a really good place. It's your success direction to put a vision board. And I had put on my vision board, I'm going to be in a movie seen by millions of people. And I thought, like, let me put a symbol there, right? So a symbol of a successful movie, everybody would think about an Oscar. So I put my name on it and I put 2005 and I put Marie Diamond on it. And within a month, I had my first Oscar winning client that called me out of the blue. And so, and I started getting a lot of Oscar winning clients, but they all had only one Oscar. So one day, and I was, I think 2007, 2008, and I thought, like, you know what, this is so interesting. I only get people with one Oscar, but there are people that have won more Oscars and they never call me. So I changed and I added two other Oscars, fake Oscars, right? And so that was a Tuesday morning. See how fast the universe works sometimes. And then the Thursday in that same week, I get a phone call from an assistant of a super VIP client. They don't want to tell their name. They're like, we just want you to come to do all their houses. And I'm like, yeah, but I need to know a name. Well, we cannot say the name till you're here because you have to sign off on things, right?
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
like, okay. So I said, can you tell me who referred you? So they mentioned several Oscar winning clients. I'm like, oh, that's cool. So I'm going. And as I'm getting there, and then I'm looking at everything, then of course I found out the name. And I go into the bedroom of the master bedroom of this very famous director who was Steven Spielberg. Um, I was like, because in his office were not his Oscars. So I come in his bedroom and there were his three Oscars, and I said, why are you three Oscars in your bedroom? So like I look like watching, and when I wake up, I said, do you want more Oscars? He said, yes. I said, well, you have to put them in your office because you do not make Oscars in your bedroom.
Mm.
So we changed that, and the year after he got another Oscar. But the funny part was I asked him and his wife, when did you start thinking about me? He said, oh, we know about you for 4 years. But last week, Tuesday afternoon, the same Tuesday, I put my three Oscars out.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. We start talking to some of our friends, and they were like, you really need to get Marie Diamond over. She will help you. I mean, there were some issues I can't talk about, but
Yeah.
that was the situation. And I was like, oh my God. And since then, I have two other clients that have three Oscars.
Oh my gosh. That's so amazing. I
Yeah.
mean, what a
So
story.
we sometimes think it's the little things of life.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Yes.
I would say, yes, sometimes we think we have all these thought processes, we have visualization, we're praying, we're meditating, do all the rituals. But I always say the law of attraction is 1/3 also in our environment. And so if your environment is telling a different story or is not aligned with the story that you want to manifest, then it will be so hard to happen. Yeah. So I think that's one of the reasons that we need to become more aware of our environment.
Oh, you have opened my eyes to a lot of things. And one of the things is color. Can we
Yeah.
talk about the importance of color?
Yeah. So, a lot of times, especially in these new times, people go very monotone in colors, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
very like everything has to be white, beiges. And I'm like, life is not monotone. You need to
Mm-mm.
color, right? So, but based on the birthday, based on the location, there are some colors that work better for you than others. Yeah. And so, one of the things that, especially where you sleep, for example, you have to be careful because where you sleep, you cannot have, for example, too much red. Because I was just talking to somebody yesterday and she's like, oh, I painted my room completely red. After a week, I had to repaint it. I became so nervous, because red stands for the element fire. And so when we are surrounded by fire, literally, would we feel safe? Would we be able to fall asleep? We wouldn't. Yeah. The same with blue. If everything around us in a bedroom is blue, that's connected with the element water, then we would be like feeling we're drowning. People get more depressed when they're in the bedroom, they procrastinate more. So it's like, get that out. Even the color green, and you can say, well, that's a positive color, but green is actually stands for all the plants and the flowers and nature. When you're asleep in nature, now some people love to do that, but all the time you're always a little bit on edge because whatever is going on at night, if you go camping, like every noise, right? You become very vigilant. Yeah. So the best colors would be like more the beiges, the pinks, the yellows, the light browns. So even whites and silvers and golds are really good because they're just really good colors for our energy. So that is something we need to become aware of. But sometimes it's just like we come into a bedroom or we come into any space and we're like, what does it say? Give it a pop of color, give it like a living room, a family room. I love to add peaches or oranges because that always creates more joy and happiness and better communication. So we can do pops, even in the bedroom, we can do little pops of red if you want some more passion, or pops of rose when you want more romance. So every color, but you cannot overdo things. Yeah. So that's kind of what I would suggest.
Well, and when I read that, I instantly thought it's so funny because I thought painting my bedroom like a light blue would help me sleep.
Mm.
So I don't think I nailed that, is what you're saying.
No, you didn't. Yeah. So it doesn't mean you can't, like I have like a beautiful warm beige, but I have, because one of the colors that work well for my husband and me together is like a light blue. So we add a few light pops of blue. So that's fine. But if you do too much the blue, then people have a harder time to concentrate because it's like you're surrounded by water. Also, we have seen people gain weight when they're doing too much blue in their bedroom. I just want to, it's harder for people to get on a diet.
Wow. Oh, that's so good. Okay. I'm taking notes while I'm talking to you. Trust me.
Yeah, and tell your husband.
My husband struggles to gain weight. He's not the issue.
Okay, all right. No, I'm just saying, just give him some tips, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm totally going to tell him. He's going to be like, Marie, I am not repainting my bedroom.
Well, I would then definitely say add, some other colors that are like golds or pinks, something that just pops more your mind. So yeah, it's not always possible. Let's be honest about that. But give it a try. I always say, even if you change 1%, yeah,
Hmm,
it's better than the day before. Yeah.
so interesting. Okay. So relationships. We want to help our own relationship. We talked about it. We want to help our kids with relationships. So I
Yeah.
think going back, what you said was we want to hang pictures of friends.
Yeah. So in for the children, we first focus on their own bedroom. Yeah.
Yes.
That's their anchor place. That's like where they feel the greatest. And then look, where is their relationship direction? Yeah. So you know, look where their relationship direction is. I would say I sometimes say with children, hang a cork board, yeah, and put their images of the team, of their classmates, of their family, because with children, it kind of changes quite a bit, yeah.
Mm.
So just a cork board would be a really nice thing, um, and just make sure to look at what hangs above the headboard, and that's also for grown-ups, for adults, like what is above your headboard. Don't hang solitary images, yeah. And sometimes, like I was like in somebody's child's bedroom, and there was like this big dinosaur above the bedroom. Now I'm telling you, it's first of all, it's a single dinosaur, but it's also, what does it say, right? It's like
Yeah.
you're eaten up by the dinosaur as you're asleep, right? You would not feel safe there. Yeah. So I would like you to look at that. Relationship direction is very good. Success direction for a child, you can definitely also put a cork board. If they're young, they can put their latest colored images that they're using. Perhaps they have awards, perhaps they have their outline of their school. They can put an image of their school or their teacher. Like, they can play with that. I love working with cork boards actually for children because it changes quite a bit.
Well, and I love that you said, I didn't know. I'm going to go from room to room and check this out. You said to update pictures because we don't
Yeah,
want them, right?
correct. Yes. Yeah, because when we, like, I sometimes come in somebody's house and they're like images of, when the babies, the kids were still babies, right? And I'm like, how old are they now? And they're like 25. And I'm like, I think they will kind of feel like they're babies in your life, but you're
Oh.
not. See them as grown-ups. Or I had even people that like got this big picture of with their two daughters, but meanwhile they had a little son, but that son was not never on the pictures. Like, it was separately on a picture, but never on the family pictures. And I
Mm.
said, how is the relationship between the two girls and the boy? He said, well, they don't get along so well. So I said, remove these big pictures, get a new family shoot, right? Try to get new family pictures. I mean, we come together for Christmas, it could be fun, Halloween, whatever it is, right? And so put it out there, and they got along much better because the boy was always feeling separate. There were only separate pictures. So what's the subconscious message you're giving it?
Wow, so powerful.
Yeah.
And I don't want to drive myself crazy. I want to walk around my whole house right now. But the other thing I need to do is I need to take all the photos off the fridge.
Mm. Yes, yes. A lot of people, especially in the US, I mean, I have to be honest, I'm from Europe, and Europe, nobody does that really. So it's really weird. But yeah, like people put all kinds of things, photos, but also bills they want to pay, and then they are surprised they can't pay the bills so easily because they
Mm,
put it on a cold, super cold symbol, freezing it, cooling it. Yeah. So just take that out. And it's not very honorable, I think, to your family if you put them on the fridge. Yeah. So put them in nice frames, put them in the living room and the places where you want to hang out. You don't want to hang your whole family in your bedroom. You don't want them to visit your bedroom when you're making,
right,
right?
right,
So
right.
just do it in the areas where it is, where you bring them also physically if they would come along.
So when my kids get a really good grade, sometimes they'll post it on the fridge. So I don't want them to do that.
No.
No.
So that's why you will post that on their success corner in their bedroom, because then
Okay.
it's more of it. Yeah. The fridge, for me, that is totally clean. Yeah. And that's, one of the reasons people, here in the US, people come into a house and they go immediately to the fridge. And they're like, and the first time I had to, like, why would people do that? But now I got it. You put all the pictures of the family on the fridge. You're saying it's your home. Get in it.
Ah,
Nobody does that in my space. Like, this is,
yeah.
the fridge is something controlled by the host, not by the guests.
So interesting. I'm going to have to read your book a few times because there's so much to go over and retain. But do you have a favorite client that you can talk about?
Well, a favorite client. I think one of my favorite clients, and this is not a celebrity, but this was a single mom with a little boy of 7, and she kind of saved her money to have a 1 hour consultation with me, right? So she was like, I really need her help. She had read my books, she had practiced as much as she could, but she really wanted to have 1 hour with me. And so I kind of designed her very small 1 bedroom apartment. And so I said, what do you want? You know, what do you want to accomplish? And so now we are 4 years further. So she wanted to find the man of her life. She did find that. She wanted to have a job at Google. She got a major job at Google. She now owns her house. You know, she can travel the world. And that all happened within, a few months. Things started shifting around. And she's like one of my favorite clients because she's just so grateful. And I have, of course, a lot of people that are talking like this. But another very favorite story of mine is there was this man and asking me to, he was living in a tent in a homeless person in LA. And he sent us a message and said, can I get a class for free? And we gave him a class for free, an online course. And so he started practicing literally this information. He got, like, somebody gave him a compass. He didn't even have a phone, right? So he got an old compass, and he got, because he had seen on YouTube when somebody had a computer nearby, and he had watched me. And one of the things I said, I had put a post-it note, on my success. So he got himself some post-it notes with some money, and he put in his tent, in his success direction, I'm successful, I am healthy, I have relationships, I have money. So just small things. And then the first thing that happened was he got an old car. And then somebody gave him an old car, so he wouldn't be in a tent anymore, right? And then now he owns, and we are speaking 5 years later, he had been able to get a job. He solved all his immigration problems. He has a girlfriend. He owns with a girlfriend an apartment. And now every week he goes back to the tent camp and teaches people how to do this work.
Oh my
So
goodness. What?
don't tell me you cannot do the work. Even if you're homeless, you can find a way to do it.
Wow. I need to get to work. I need to end this podcast and go take everything off my fridge. No, I'm kidding. I have so much to do. And I think the biggest thing that I want to do that I've been working on is to get rid of the clutter. The clutter just drives me crazy.
Yeah. And it's something that a lot of people deal with, to be honest. And so start first with decluttering your good directions. Yeah. And so put them, because you will see on the compass, there are some directions that are empty for you. So when you look at it, you will see there are some
Yeah.
empty areas. So
Yeah.
then take the clutter and put it in the empty areas.
Yeah.
Yeah, and put a fabric over it. So at least you don't see it for a moment. And then you will see, as you're activating your good directions, your energy will start being stronger. And then you'll be able to tackle things. Yeah. Having it perfect, perfect feng shui doesn't exist, but it's like starting getting a habit of it. And I have a very good system in the book Feng Shui Alive, how to start decluttering. And it's really helpful. It's like, first of all, spray some lavender mist, because lavender helps your brain to open up, to clean the energy. Yeah. So just do a few steps, and then have a very good system how to tackle, like if you do a drawer or do a cabinet, like, okay, you can't do it all at once. So, but like every week, something. Yeah. Get yourself on a schedule and ask somebody to help you, like to ask yourself the question, is this useful? I'm going to still use this in the next year. It's not about having joy. Yeah. Like, does that bring me joy? I mean, to be honest, a lot of things bring me joy. It doesn't mean I want to keep them.
Right.
Yeah. So, and everything we have has a story behind us, right? Like, I got this from my aunt. I got this from a friend. Like, oh, I bought this in this place. Like, you have to get rid of the stories. And so don't go into the stories when you're like, oh my God, I got this. Oh, I got this book there. Just say it's a book, right?
Yes.
Get,
Good
don't go
advice.
into the story,
I
right?
love that. I love it. Well, and I know I have to let you go, but I do have one more question about candles and the importance of candles. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. So candles stands for the element of energy. So we can say, what's a fire? Yes, but it's just really energy. So ultimately, we can put candles in every area, but it depends on which color we're going to use. Yeah. So sometimes this is the easiest activation. We call
Mm,
that like an activation. Um, for example, if I say, well, you need something gold there, I would say, well, why don't you do a golden candle? I mean, that's easy to buy. Yeah. We cannot
yes.
find things that have certain colors, but the candles, they exist in all. And we don't even have to lit the candle, just putting it there gives us subconsciously an energy field for like, oh, it's something bright and light. Yeah. So you can burn the candle for sure. You can also activate a candle. That's another wonderful thing that people can do. It's just like take the candle before it's lit, put your hand on the bottom and the hand on the top, and think about an intention you want to place in the candle. Like could be a candle for healing, a candle for money, whatever you want to do it. And then after you have put the intention in it and you take a few deep breaths and like, yeah, it's in there, then lit the candle for at least 9 minutes. The number for fire, the number for energy that is the strongest to lit a candle is 9. So if you wait 9 minutes, then the candle is activated. Yeah.
Mm,
Then you can lit it up as long as you want. But for the first time, don't blow the candle out. Just use a sniffer, like a snuffer, or not blow it out, but like with your wet fingers. And then later on, you can blow it out, but not after the first time.
interesting. Oh my goodness. Well, you knew I had a ton of questions for you.
Yes.
Is there anything else that you want to share before I let you go?
Well, I would say just start, start looking into it. Get the book, Feng Shui Your Life. It's in good bookstores and on Amazon. And get also your app, yeah, the free app. So you can upgrade, but all the information you need for the book is for free available on the app. And find it out for your children. Just start playing with it. It's a huge shift that can happen, but you need to just see it not from like, oh my God, I have to do all this work. No, see it like your energy, like joyful. Let's give it a try, and I always
Love
think
it.
some very powerful people are using these techniques to really become very successful. So, and I want all of you to be very successful and happy in your family.
I love it. I love it. Can you tell everyone where to find you?
Yes, they can go to mariediamond.com. It's quite easy. They can also go to my Marie Diamond official Instagram account, where every few days you get a new tutorial. There is, of course, you can find me on my YouTube channel. There's also a Marie Diamond podcast that regularly gets some new tutorials. There's a lot of free information out there, but definitely start with the book because that will be very helpful for you.
Oh, I loved your book and I loved talking to you, and I knew I would. And I can't thank you enough for your time and your expertise today.
But thank you, Rebecca, and thank you for what you do in the world by bringing this podcast forward. You do also reach out to a lot of people and make a big difference. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much. This is Rebecca Green, reminding everyone to spend every day laughing, learning, and loving.
Thank you for tuning in to the Whiny Palooza podcast. If you like what you heard, please be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. While you are there, leave a review. I love to hear your feedback. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time.
This show has been produced by Market Domination, LLC. To discover how you can have your own show completely done for you and turn it into a real published book and become the authority in your marketplace, go to www.marketdominationllc.com/podcast offer.
49 faces looked to him in triumph. Over the last 12 months, they had each taken turns and promoted his business for a week at a time, driving over $987,342 in revenue. What if you had a network of 50 centers of influence who promoted your business every week for a year? Grab your copy of the #1 Amazon best-selling book, The Ultimate Guide to Growing Your Business with a Podcast, at 33% off the Amazon price by going to ultimatepodcastbook.com. Again, that website for 33% off the Amazon price is ultimatepodcastbook.com.